All right, looks like we're live. Welcome, guys. Good to see you. If you're here, feel free to skip ahead a few minutes and we will be answering some questions when some people get in here. But if you're new to the channel, I'm 𝗦cie𝗰𝗶𝗹, and what I do is I buy things online and then I sell them on Amazon. That's my full-time gig. I've also sold on eBay for a few years, and I've done Amazon FBA books and also retail arbitrage. I'm going to go ahead and post to the Instagram so that people see that we are live. But yeah, basically today I decided to do something like very different. Almost all the time I talk about online arbitrage, and I love online arbitrage. But today I decided to do retail arbitrage for the first time in a long time. So that was cool. Did probably like 4 hours of it. I think I found a couple $100 worth of stuff. I went to Ace Hardware. I went to 2 different thrift stores, and I went to Home Depot and Office Depot. I'm going to post this on the story real quick. But yeah, retail arbitrage is a completely different game. Back last summer, around June until September, I did a lot of retail arbitrage. And since September, I've done almost all online arbitrage. And starting in December, I was doing mostly online arbitrage to Prep Center. We got 𝗦cie in the house. Ace Hardware is the place that I got my very first product that I sold on Amazon. Yeah, it's weird for me. I went to 3 different Ace Hardwares, and there was a really good clearance section at the first one that I went to. And then the other 2 had no clearance section at all. And like there was no clearance in their stores. Like I asked the managers and stuff, and they said, yeah, we don't have a clearance. What was that first product if you're not selling it anymore? But yeah, Ace Hardware is pretty good. I'd probably say the favorite of the places that I did the best today were, there was a thrift store that I found 175 worth of profit at. And then I wasn't going to go to Target, but I'm like, I'm so close to Target. I got to go to Target. And I found around 130 worth of profit there. They have a ton of electronics on sale at Target. And then at the thrift store, I found probably $120 worth of profit of ice cream makers, like vintage ice cream makers. So that was pretty cool. I don't know if I've ever sold ice cream makers before, but they had good stats. So from Ace Hardware, 𝗦cie found a concrete patch and repair kit. Found it on clearance, and I called the other 2 in my area, and they weren't discounted at all. Oh, okay, so you're going to try to get more of them, but you weren't able to get more of them. That's a good idea to call them. Especially if it's a situation where it's heavily discounted or they sell fast. I mean, really, what we do when we buy items is we're buying stats. We're not buying, we're buying items, obviously. But like, it's the stats that we want. The profit margin, how fast it's going to sell. It's nice if it's small, so it's easy to ship. But yeah, it was cool getting back out and doing retail arbitrage. It's definitely grindier, for sure. But the margins are much, much bigger than online arbitrage. Like I think I spent like $190 and I was out for like 4 hours. And I think I found a little under 350 in profit. So the margins are nuts with RA. But then at the same time, like could have spent that very quickly with online arbitrage. I think I'm always going to like online arbitrage better. But the ROI of retail arbitrage is insane. Yeah, and like the first store of the day, I walked out with like $15 of profit. And then there were 2 stores where I found nothing. And then I think there was another store where I found $6 profit. So it's just like either you find like almost nothing or you just find like a couple $100 worth of stuff sometimes. And yeah, I feel more disappointment walking away from a few hours of RA with nothing versus online at home for sure. Yeah, it's disappointing because like you drove around, like kind of like almost put yourself out there. I mean, you paid for gas. It's not that much. But it's like more effort. When you're doing online arbitrage, you can like get up and get chips whenever you want, get water whenever you want, like change your clothes if you want to, like walk outside for a few minutes. You can take a break at any point. Retail arbitrage is just like you're out the whole time. And like, I guess you could just go to your car and like sit and read a book. I feel like most people don't do retail arbitrage like that. I kind of feel like I should just like be as efficient as possible and then go home. But yeah, the current plan is watch Netflix in the background. Yeah, definitely. Or like YouTube or something. I think there was a point where I literally considered, I mean, this isn't that crazy. I just wanted to buy like a completely different computer to just like have it on the side. I know people have 2 monitors, but I have a laptop, so it would be fun to have one screen completely YouTube, Netflix, the other screen online arbitrage. If I get a new laptop, I'll probably just keep this one as a YouTube laptop. And then at Target, I know Target is not reseller friendly. And that was like the place that I found some of the most stuff. And I had almost a full cart of stuff. So I'm definitely not used to checking out at Target. Was just trying to scan my stuff and get out of there ASAP because I don't like spending time at a store and then not being able to purchase the stuff. They're better than Trader Joe's though. Trader Joe's just is on you like a hawk when it comes to reselling. I don't know if you guys have Trader Joe's in your area, but there was one time I tried to buy salmon jerky dog treats, and I tried to buy 20 of them. Manager did not like that. They really didn't like that. And then I tried coming back next week, and the manager like recognized me and said, "Do you remember our conversation last week?" I was just like, all right, well, I guess I'm not sourcing here anymore. Trader Joe's has like really good profitable stuff. You could probably go there a couple times and like nobody will notice anything. I would just be cautious of the quantity. Cristiano, what's up? Good to see you. Yeah, like I don't like going to a store and like feeling like I'm a criminal. So, I mean, that's why I don't go to Target much. I mean, Target's not that bad. Like in an ideal world, like I want to just like give my money to someone and they say, "Hooray, thank you for spending money at my store and helping me make money." Not like, "Oh, you're a reseller? I don't want your money." Yeah, so what kind of products at Trader Joe's? So it basically is a grocery store. So you need to be ungated in grocery, but you can do that through Frontier Co-op. You buy 10 units of something that matches an ASIN. So like let's say there's a certain type of coffee creamer that's on both Amazon and on Frontier Co-op. You buy 10 from Frontier Co-op, and then when you receive the package, you're gonna have an invoice in the box. And you take a picture of that, upload it to Amazon underneath that ASIN when you go to ungate, and that'll get you ungated in groceries. I don't have Ollie's in my area. I've heard good things about Ollie's. But Trader Joe's, you'll go and what you need to do, you don't just scan items. Like, you know how Amazon Seller app, it has a like a scan camera thing. It works better if you type the items. But probably like 1 out of every 4 items there is at least a 30% ROI. Because they have a lot of items. So also there, you do need to be careful about, I made this mistake. You need to be careful about variation listings, because maybe there'll be like a pack of sunflower seeds or something, and it'll show that the 4-pack is like extremely profitable, and the 1-pack is only mildly profitable. But the thing is that the 4-pack doesn't really sell hardly ever. And so there you kind of just have to use common sense. Like, does it make sense? Would someone purchase this? And then you'll get home and you'll be able to see the variations and the review percentage. The review percentage basically, you can see how many people reviewed that variation. And from there, you can guess that that variation is getting sales because people are reviewing it. Alyssa says, I'm selling stuff from Ollie's right now. So yeah, I mean, that's a great place to get stuff. If Alyssa is finding profitable stuff there. Like Trader Joe branded, because a lot of their stuff is in-house brand. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, I mean, basically all of it is Trader Joe branded, and that's the stuff that you sell. For example, they have some spices that are seasonal. And so when the season ends, eventually the supply goes away. Like if you look at the 𝗂𝗶𝗶 graph for South African spice, or I think ghost chilies, the 𝗂𝗶𝗶 graph is just like up, down. And it shows, it basically has to do with how many sellers are selling it. So I don't know if I'd suggest buying and holding spices, but I did it and I made like $800, but it was like a 7-month hold. But I mean, there's lots of other items you can just sell for profit. Yeah, like even their potato chips, like their banana chips. There's pancake mix that people really like. There's like these cookies that people really like. People in 2019 were hustling the everyday bagel spice. Like literally, I think there's a news article if you search the everyday bagel spice from Trader Joe's. I think there was a couple who was doing RA that was making a full-time income that got interviewed because they would just go to different stores. They'd come back at different times a day, and they were just buying all the stores out of that spice. I think that one moves pretty quick. Yeah, because I mean, like if someone out of state from Trader Joe's like moved and lived near Trader Joe's and then moved, like they might still want the stuff. There's plenty of people who are willing to pay like $16 for a bag of chips. It's kind of crazy, but for OA, I do OA a little bit more risky, because with regular retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, it's good to have receipts from a manufacturer, like, or at least a distributor. Like having receipts from a store is helpful when it comes to IP complaints. But I like doing eBay to Amazon, and so basically what I do is I purchase a used item that someone found at a thrift store or an estate sale or something, and it's a more expensive item, and then I sell it back on Amazon. And since it's used, there's not too many IP complaints, but if you make mistakes, the mistakes are pretty costly, because you can't nullify the mistakes because I don't have receipts. So the mistakes you do make and get IP claims or counterfeit claims, those end up staying on the account for 6 months in almost every situation. But the ROI is much higher. And I try to do volume of stuff that is going to move well and customers are going to be happy with. But yeah, eBay is my favorite store. Yeah, a lot of them are electronics. Also, a lot of office supplies, a lot of computer accessories like docking stations. For a while, I was doing tools. There's a line of multimeters and basically like almost like construction equipment. I was doing the Fluke line, and those were working out decently well. The return rate was pretty high, so I stopped doing those, but that's just an example. There's like 100 different types of Flukes. But basically, if you're doing eBay to Amazon, especially if you're doing eBay to Amazon to Prep Center, you want to make sure that you're doing an item that is most likely to work, like just on its own. Like doing something like a VCR. Oftentimes a VCR might be broken, or like the customer's not going to know how to use it. But if you do something like a hole puncher or something, that's just a random thing. Like, since when does a hole puncher never work? Yeah, electronics are good. Tools are just confusing to me, but like if someone has a mind for tools, great opportunity there. Jeff says, I gotta ask, it's summertime. Why are you always in sweaters and long sleeves? Because it's so comfortable. I love sweaters and long sleeves. And I also get cold super easy. So like, even though it's like 80, 85 outside, inside we have air conditioning because we don't want it to be 85 inside. And so it's like 70 and I'm cold. Honestly. I'm not I love being warm. I was wearing a sweater outside and then I realized, what am I doing? It's too hot for this. Yeah, exactly. I actually love living in sweatshirts and pants, but I'm in Florida, so I only get to pull them out for maybe 3 months out of the year. Yeah, exactly. It's I was in Florida for that Miami event and it was so like hot and humid there. It was super comfortable there. Next time we go, I definitely need to visit Key West because that seems super fun, or like the Everglades or something. Alyssa, you're from Florida, so if I were to go back to Florida, where should I go? You literally box them up and put them away. I should probably do that myself. I kind of just leave my stuff there. Are you restocking during holiday sales this weekend? Well, I did a couple hours of retail arbitrage today just because I wanted to get out there and get some high ROI. And there were some, it seemed like there were some good sales out there. The Target clearance was really good. And this has nothing to do with sales, but thrift store was also really good. One of them, anyways. Are you stocking up on it? I've heard people, one person was saying, oh, well, stores are liquidating because they're overstocked on stuff. And so the market's just going to get flooded. And then other people are saying, like, well, there's good sales. It's time to purchase at a lower price for my inventory. I kind of don't really, how do I say this? Like, I don't buy too much into like people being fearful of economy type stuff. I think it's just good to keep purchasing inventory that has good data points. And then also eBay, most sellers don't really run sales like holiday sales like that. And my credit statement actually restarts tomorrow. So that's when I'll probably start spending again. At the moment, it's I kind of do a burst of spending after the credit statement. That way I have the most money, the most time to repay the money and have it sent in. Wasn't that Miami event in February? That's like our coldest, driest month. Yeah, but I live in Colorado, so you're right. It's very dry here, so Florida still felt great. Yeah, it was no, it was April. Yeah, it was in the beginning of April, not February. I'm trying to take advantage of it, but I don't have enough info on my test buys to go deep. Yeah, it's I know for me, it's been a temptation and a hard like balancing act to know how hard to spend on my credit. Like just because I have a credit line, does that mean that I should just spend my whole credit line? And then also like, are we gonna max a credit card on something that we don't have info on, like actual sales data on? That's hard to do. Do you have some other stuff that you could go deeper on that you have more info on? The Keys are awesome. Most of the beaches in my area are great, like in North Central Florida, and tons of natural springs and rivers to check out. That sounds fun. So you're basically on the North Central. So are you on the east side or the west side, like Gulf of Mexico or the Atlantic? Yeah, I love the nature stuff. That's my favorite part of just about any vacation, like the nature, the outdoors. I don't know if you guys see on my stories, I love to hike. It's my favorite. Do you guys have any favorite hiking spots? But yeah, we went to a state park south of Miami. That was fun. That was a cool place. We didn't have enough time to go like super far, unfortunately, or we're going to next time. The stuff I want to go deeper on is out of stock. Just trying to source more goods. So you're trying to expand your catalog and like you have a ton of test buys out, but they just like they're inbound or like when in the first couple weeks of being in stock, and so you just don't know yet. Favorite trail, minus the crowds these days. Love the 4th of July trail near Eldora. I'm from Colorado and I don't know that trail. We're both from Colorado. Yeah, 4th of July 4th trail. That could be fun to just go to Eldora and see what's over there in that area. Alyssa says, so I'm 90 minutes from each coast. Okay, so Atlantic side up here has better beaches. St. Augustine for historical sites, and the Gulf Coast is better fishing and nature. Okay. So it's a trade-off there. I feel like I'd probably like Gulf of Mexico better. Like the hot springs and the rivers sound fun. Basically, Amazon has been taking longer of late to inbound. Yeah, there's a lot of it in FC transfer as well. Sometimes just a bunch of my stuff goes in FC transfer, and that's a bunch of fun. That just adds another couple weeks to it, and goes back to the point of just like not maxing the credit card, because if like the main card that I like to use is the Amex Plum, and so that gives you 60 days, and so by the time it gets, let's say I was doing my own prep, gets to me a week, maybe I'd take a week to list it, another 3 weeks to get inbound. So we're already at 5 weeks there. And then if they FC transfer it, that's another week or two. So the stuff that sells like probably isn't going to be enough if it FC transfers. Craig says, do you guys usually only sell stuff in the United States who live in America? Yeah. Oh, as far as like the global shipping program or the global selling program. Yeah, I have mine ticked, so it's just the United States. And I've heard that people who do the global program, they sometimes have like 3 to 5% more sales. But from what I've seen, I kind of want to just be super focused and not have more responsibilities, because I think you have to reprice in another currency or something. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but you got to try it. It's not challenging. About 8 hours. Oh, not 8 hours, 8 miles out and back. Yeah, it's the other day I went for a hike and the sign said 3 miles. And so I assumed it was 3 miles out and back, but it was 3 miles one way and then 3 miles back. So I was just like, okay. So I ran like half of the way back. If you're prepared, 8 miles is not bad. Is it Jeff, is that also like, does it go up Eldora, the mountain? Or is it more of a flat trail? Orlando. Yeah, maybe that's close to 𝗦cie. Yeah, so an FC transfer, sometimes when you send in inventory, it will be, so let's think of it like this. We send stuff to Amazon, and Amazon wants their stuff to be the closest to customers possible. So sometimes they have data that even though we sent our stuff into Los Angeles, that there's going to be a certain amount of customers that want stuff in New York. So they send it to a New York site, and sometimes that takes a week or two. So under your inventory, it'll show FC transfer. We'll talk about this and then we'll go up to here. But no, it's just past a ski resort. It's not flat. You end at Diamond Lake and go over waterfalls, and it's called 4th of July or July 4th because of the colorful flowers along the path. Jeff, weren't we, me, you, Eli, and Derek going to do a hike? Why don't we do that one? That would be like an all-day hike. And I think all of us would have a far drive for it, but that sounds fun. Nathan's asking, how quickly do your items usually sell? My goal is always to purchase items that are going to sell within a month of being active. So by the time they go active and they've fully arrived at Amazon, I want them to sell within a month. And depending on cash flow and like how much capital I have available, I've purposely tried to purchase stuff that's going to sell only within 2 weeks. Like I want the stuff to like fly off the shelves. And then there's other times where I find a really, really good deal that I don't think I'm going to be able to find again for a long time. And I'll stock up for as much as like 2.5 months. But I usually only do that if the ROI justifies it. So like if I'm looking for 30%, for example, and that 30% is going to be in a month, and I'm purchasing 2 months worth, I might look to try and increase my ROI closer to 60%. Because if it's going to take 2 months, my money is still sitting there. So I try to, these days I try and stick to under a month, probably around 2 to 3 weeks. If you guys have any last questions, feel free to ask them. It's been fun hanging out. We'll probably get off pretty soon. But if you have any last questions. I got to go for a walk. It's gorgeous out. And Jeff, I'm definitely going to do it in a long sleeve shirt because just to spite you, because I like my long sleeve shirts. LOL. The other day I was walking and we always try and keep our cat from going outside by the time it gets to sunset because we're always nervous of coyotes. And so I took a walk the other day and I literally saw a coyote at like 8 p.m. I mean, that's not that crazy. But we don't want our cat to get killed by a coyote. She gets slaughtered. Do most Amazon FBA OA sellers usually shoot to sell items for at least 25% ROI? The majority standard kind of is 30%. Usually people shoot for at least 30%. And as people get more and more sure of their purchases, there are some bigger sellers who are super content going down to 25, 20, 15, and even 10% sometimes. Just the thing is, you have to know your numbers pretty well, because if there's returns that are costing money or like items are getting lost, it's probably possible to be buying items that are slightly profitable on paper. But if you're like losing items every once in a while or something, you're suddenly just selling items and not making any money. So 30% is a bit of a buffer. Me personally, with used items, there's a bit more of a risk that if I purchase a used item, it might be broken or something and therefore not sellable. So I often shoot for 40%. Nathan Mall asks, how long did it take you to grow to the level that I'm at now? Yeah, so I started reselling May 2019, so just over 3 years ago. And when I was doing that, I was selling on an app called Depop. I was listing used clothing. And soon after, I started purchasing necklaces from AliExpress, and I would take pictures with them and I would sell them on the app. I sold on Depop for around 6 months before I started eBay. On eBay, I started listing a lot of used clothing, a lot of used shoes. So I was full-time with that by the time COVID happened. So I was around a year into reselling when I was able to not have any other income streams. I wasn't working for anyone else. I was just doing reselling. And then later that year, around a year and a half ago, I started Amazon doing FBA books. And FBA books, I did that until June of last year. So, and then after that June, December was my first 30K month. So before December, most of 2021, I was doing between 10 and 15K in sales a month in sales. And this year it's been more of an average of 60 to 100K in sales a month. So I had the biggest amount of growth in the last 7 months or so. Nathan Mall says, I source on eBay and can hit 40% and up. It's just a hunt for those items. So you're saying that you purchase from eBay and then you sell on Amazon? Do you have a list of items that you're looking for regularly? And I'm curious how you go about trying to find these items. like what your strategy is. Because there's a lot of ways to find items on eBay to sell on Amazon. I feel like for me, there's one side of it, like first I need to know like what item like and ASIN is going to sell well. And then from there, I need to actually like find that item on eBay, because like I can know that a 𝗦𝗏 87V is selling for 380 or something like that. And that my buy cost is going to be after fees, hypothetical numbers like 230 or something. But actually finding one at 230 is a different story. Now I have a couple products I can buy on a regular from sourcing from eBay. And you've been sniping a lot of products. Yeah, I feel like you can send offers on stuff that's above your price, but you send an offer for the right price. You can be searching through the items every day, filtering by newly listed. You can filter by lowest, shown first. You can set up save searches. You can do auctions. You can snipe those auctions, that's for sure. Shop Goodwill is also another site that's good. And Nathan, are you on Instagram? I'd love to talk more about this. I'm more focused on finding products that have the same price consistently. So you're saying on eBay they have the same price consistently and they're always profitable? Like they like whenever you go to search it, it's always available basically? Cool. Yeah, I'd love to connect. I'm 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 on Amazon as well, on Instagram as well. Craig is saying, are most of the eBay items you source bid items or non-bid items? Most of them for me are non-bid items. I think at one point I probably did like 30% auctions. But now I don't. I do maybe like 5% auctions, maybe 10%. From hours and hours of sourcing, you notice that there are certain items that are just always up and available for sale. I feel like I do it. Most of the things that I purchase are not available all the time, and you have to have it set up in a save search or like just hit newly listed, and then you're able to find it. Yeah, the bid items, you have to like go through the effort of setting a timer and like making sure you're at the computer at the right time. And then like if you set the timer, it really needs to be set for like 2 minutes before the auction, or else you're just going to miss it. It's just a little bit more effort. And then my favorite items just end up not even being that cheap when it comes to an auction. Auctions are really good for items that don't have a quick sell-through rate. Like if it's slightly slower on Amazon and eBay, but it's still profitable, auctions can be really good for that. Because like nobody, like in the grand scheme of things, not too many people are looking for that item. And so an auction can slip through the cracks pretty easily. Oh, you use 𝗖𝗂𝗋 as an auction sniper. That's a good idea. Is that I've noticed sometimes I'll bid on an auction and I just get auto outbid. That's pretty smart. I'll take this off the screen so it's a good idea. Well, I'm going to do a live also tomorrow as well at the same time at 6 p.m. Eastern. So I'd love to see you guys out there again. This was fun to hang out, and I'm going to head off for now, but good to hang out and have a good rest of the day. Take care, guys.